And today's side of the road find, haven't really looked at it. It was on a busy street. But I know the engine turns. It looks like it's just a Honda clone. It's got some compression. Fuel's off. There's definitely something in it. I haven't checked. Those gauges never work. Doesn't look too beat up. Let's get it inside, see what she needs. Hello YouTube, Hester781 here. So, now that we got some light, here's the side of the road generator. iPower. I never heard of it. I'm pretty sure this is a Honda clone motor. First impressions, airbox looks a little wonky. I don't know if that's, we'll get to that. I feel compression, just like in the last little snippet. Look at this. 2.8 hours. I mean, it's clean. It doesn't look like it's had a rough life. I don't see any signs that someone's hacked into the wiring or any mouse nests or anything. There was a bunch of stuff trash-wise in front of this guy's house. So who knows what the reason is. Unfortunately, it does have fuel in it. But fortunately, come on. I hate these filter things. Fortunately, I don't see any rust on the bottom of that tank. It smells to high heavens like old fuel, so who knows? Who knows what we're gonna find at this one? Let me get you set up and we'll get into it. I guess first off, we'll see if we got what we got for oil. If it's clean, if it's uh-oh. I was gonna say if it's empty, but that is over full and it stinks of gas. Oh boy. So that means somebody left the fuel on at some point, or yeah, I can definitely smell some fuel. I was gonna say, or somebody overfilled it, but we got a pan under that. We'll drain it out. That oil is, can you see that? It's like brand new. I mean, there's a little bit of schmoo coming out with it, but I mean, barely any. Can you guys? Here we go. Yeah, earthquake. Look at that. I mean, I believe this might just have 2.8 hours of use on it. Someone just used it maybe once and then let it sit. And while that's draining, we'll see what the air filter has to offer us. This was slightly loose. It just looks like it's taking a hit at some point. It could just be the way it is. Filter is clean as a whistle. Oof. I think that's fine, right? Was that? Why does that look bent? Yeah, I feel like somebody poked around in here at some point. There should be a bolt behind here, and there is, but it's loose. 10 millimeters, yeah. Maybe that's just how it sits. Weird. Choke was on, so somebody tried to start it. Let's see what's in the bowl. All right, so this is going to tell us what we're in for. Because I guarantee this is just junk in the carb, be it water or crud. The fuel was off too, by the way. So, all right, starting to get something. Doesn't look like water. Oh, it smells though. Smells to high heaven. Ah. Can you see that? There's a little bit of rust and crud. All right. Showtime. Not the worst. It's what I expected to see. Well, I half expected to see a lot worse, actually. But, unfortunately, oh yeah, that's just like varnished up fuel. Needs a date with the ultrasonic cleaner. No water in that fuel though, which is awesome. So that's it. Just got to pop that off. Take her apart on the bench. All right, I got you set up. Can you see all right? So we got two 10 millimeters here. This nut here, you're not going to have to worry about. That's just a vent hose. I'll show you that in a minute. Very loose. And then on the back, there's an 8 millimeter bolt, and that is finger tight. I put the socket on to see what size, and that was it. That's just right here. And now this should pop its way forward, up and out of the way. So from behind, here's where that bolt went in. I think that bracket's a little tweaked, and that might be what's causing the air filter to sit weird. Fuel is off. Need a pair of pliers. Fuel line's still pretty supple. I don't know what year this thing is. I might take a peek after it's up and running. You just wiggle the carb loose, and it's going to have that governor spring that you've seen on all my other videos. Hooks into the little tiny hole that there's no way you're going to be able to see, so I'll show you it when it's off. Apparently the choke just sits there. And then pop that up. And there's your carb. Yeesh. So, because I know you couldn't see, here's where that throttle linkage drops in. And this tiny little hole is where the spring goes. And all that spring does is cut the bounce out of the, that takes the slack out of the two holes. Anyway, let's get this over to the bench. All right, got you in the carb cam. And I can already tell that main jet looks like nastiness. I mean, she's going to put up some sort of fight. I guarantee it. But I'm putting the cart before the horse. Let's start with the easy stuff. Sometimes with these gaskets, if you're gentle, you just pry them up, they'll pop off. I'd rather not send it through the ultrasonic. Yeah, see, like that. I'd rather not send gaskets through whenever I can avoid it. It just, I don't know. You're asking for trouble sometimes. Let me give this quick blow off. Watch your ears. Pilot jet will be next. This does not have an idle circuit, so I'm not extremely worried about counting the turns. I am going to set it back to where it looks like it was, which is just a couple threads showing through the other side. Give this a gentle pry on each side. There we go. Got that through. O-rings are intact. Geez, even that looks a little plugged. Guarantee. Well, hey, that popped right out. Needle is, yep, it was stuck. That was gummed up. So I have no doubt that a little bit of fuel snuck by. This looks like someone put stable in it. You see that little bit of green? A lot of good that did. Hate stable. I'm going to leave that alone. All right, place your bets. Is she going to break loose or is she going to break? Uh-oh. Come on. Nope. I'm going to put through just like this and try again halfway through once it's had a chance to soften it up. I'm also going to pull this gasket out. I have new ones. But yeah, so I'm going to send this through once, see how she looks, and we'll try to get that main jet out again. I really don't want to break it. It is brass. So turn you back on in a minute. Oh, sorry for the buzzing in the back. That's the ultrasonic cleaner. But next thing I want to look at is this handle. I don't think this is mounted properly. I mean, it looks like it's upside down, and this bolt it's in the wrong place, because why would that just sit there? Like, if this was flipped over, I feel like that might... Anyway, we're going to mess with it, is what I'm saying. So, like I said, I don't know about these. I've never seen another one. I could Google it, but what's the fun? And this will take 2 seconds just to try my theory anyway. So if I switch this and it lays flat, then I feel like that proves my point. You guys are staring at my arm, aren't you? Alright, so if I switch that, see, that makes more sense. So now, if I take these bolts, come on. I don't know if someone put this on or it was on like that, but that drove me crazy just wheeling it to the shop. So now, we pop these back through. See, now that's proper. Down and out of the way, up to lift. Oh, that was bugging the crap out of me. Sure hope this thing runs. All right, so I don't want to say impatient, but I'm excited. And so I've filled it up with oil. It's got fresh oil in it. I've plugged in, that's a little tiny light bulb. I keep it in here as like a night light type thing. Long story. I haven't checked for spark, but I don't think that is an issue. This is looking like a bad gas situation. So I have a little bit of a 50-to-1 two-stroke. I'm going to pour it down the throat, give her a pull, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it runs. It didn't get up to speed to make power, I don't think. So I'm going to try it again. Now don't flood the damn thing. I'm just not quick enough, Captain. Nothing? The plot thickens. You know, this was working just fine when I unplugged it and brought it over there. But now, the bulb is burnt out. So, I mean, that bulb is as old as dirt. Let me try to find something else around here that I can plug in. Well, it turns out I don't have many things that plug in anymore. So, hooked up the kilowatt, which we'll be using it later anyway. We know it'll run, so Let me just see if it kicks on. Hey! We got something. Victory! At least it wasn't full, right? I'm only kidding. I actually don't know how much these hold. It's still got a decent amount in there. There's no way this is more than like 2 or 3 gallon, right? I don't know. I'll look it up later. Here's all the extracurriculars. And I'm going to hunt around and see if I can find a serial number or a date. And there she be. Date of manufacturing, 2017. It's in great shape. What's that? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 5, going on 6 years old. I'm surprised it looks this good. So the carb's almost done. And what I've done is I pulled the spark plug. And I'm pretty sure TC means torch. So this could be a kind of a crummy plug. I have this, Stens makes a beautiful chart for small engine spark plugs. And if I had to guess, this would be probably a GXV 120, 140. So BP 6ES, BPR 6ES, R is for resistor. I'm not a spark plug wizard. If you want to tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me, but please don't ask me to explain it. So I'm going to throw one of these in there because I'd rather an NGK, a known, good quality plug, and we'll continue on. So also, I got to bring this up. The keyboard warriors, I can already hear you clicking and clacking. Yes, that is a dab of anti-seize. As far as I'm concerned, there is no right or wrong answer. I've always put anti-seize a little bit on my spark plugs. Any motor, any head, aluminum, steel, wood, whatever. I've always put a dab of anti-seize. Some plugs don't recommend them. Some plugs don't care. In my 20 years of doing this, I've never had a single problem with plugs coming out or plugs, anything wrong with putting a little bit of anti-seize. Some guys, they're already typing as fast as I'm talking, maybe even faster. It all comes down to personal preference. I'm not going to sit here and say, do it. I'm just going to recommend it. That's what I do. Different strokes for different folks. No need to get mad at me and burn down the channel. We'll all go along with our lives. Yet another controversy. I put a little bit of dielectric grease on the terminal as well. Keeps out the moisture. Keeps the contact from getting the meanie greenies. Sue me. All right. Carb's out of the bath. It cleaned up well. Here's my setup. This jet is, it's going to be in there, so I don't want to risk it with a screwdriver. I have these bits that they fit very nicely in the jet, and I can just put a 1/4 inch socket on them. It gives me sort of a better feel of if it's going to break or break loose. Oh. Nope, I think I just broke it. Did I? I either chipped it or it broke loose. Oh. Ah, success. I was literally getting to the point where I'm just going to run it, whether it comes out or not, because, why not? Excellent. We'll get you back on the bench for reassembly. All right. Time for reassembly. See how everything did. Bowl came decent. It's definitely got some scarring, but that's all smooth to the touch. Float cleaned up. Excellent. We'll have to test. Oh, I'm not even in camera. We'll have to test and make sure it holds pressure for us. Here's that emulsion tube. I have to go through this again. I might actually give this another dip, although it looks clean in there. I think I just need to give the emulsion tube a once over. That's nice and clean. So here's the main jet that we were trying to get out. You can see the shiny spots are where the screwdriver slipped. If you guys have a broken screwdriver that, you know, you snapped off the bit and you don't know what to do with it, before you throw it away, here's one that I snapped the bit off, and I made this into a nice hollow grind. It doesn't exactly fit this one, but it fits a lot of them. And it's one of my favorite screwdrivers because it gets, you know, down in there real nice. I think it's more for Briggs & Stratton. I use this one. But the name of the game is to get in there as deep as you can, but also get rid of the slop and get as much side-to-side bite as you can, so you can, you know, give it the best shot you can to get it to break free out of there. Just something to think about. And I think I can see light through this jet. But again, I'm going to run the cleaners through it, just so we don't do things twice, because we never do that around here. I know, I can hear you guys laughing. So upon closer inspection, I'm sure you can see that green in there. I don't know what that's from, if this guy used Sta-Bil at some point, but that is going to cause problems for our needle and seat. So I'm just taking my time, scraping it out of there, switching to the blow gun. I'm probably going to have to take a Q-tip with some cleaner on it just to make sure I get a nice polished surface, because that'll screw you up every time. All right, so I've made the executive decision. I'm going to take some, this is probably upside down, lapping compound. A little bit on the tip of a Q-tip, and set it to a drill set to low, and then just make sure you break off the wooden part so that you can choke up. I don't edit this stuff out of the videos. I don't care if you laugh at me. Can't hurt my feelings. I used to hold the flashlight for my father. So again, just wind her up. I'm going to go higher speed. And there. Polished. Look at that. I could see my reflection if I wanted to. All right, let me clean that out of there and we'll get back to reassembly. All right, time to get organized. Emulsion tube in. A little bit of WD-40. Just so that the jet goes in nice and smooth. I already threw the new bowl gasket on. The old one it's just kind of hard as a rock. Also the little tiny O-rings that always fail on the pilot jet. I got replacements for those too, because they both, well, they're crummy. If you're going to do one, do two. And when you're done, it'll look something like that. One O-ring at the bottom, one O-ring at the very top notch. Flip that over. A little bit of lubrication. And again, you have to turn this sideways so that it lines up with that little notch. And give it a little push. Bam. Pops right into place. And we'll pop the idle screw in. Again, this doesn't have a throttle down option, so I'm not concerned. I'm just going to put it right to there. They're always usually just sticking through. Like I said, it's not going to matter on this this unit. And float and needle in, Nice and free. No resistance, which is what we want. All right. Bowl. Where'd you guys put the bowl? All right, here it is. And that does it. All right, let's get you back over to the machine. See if we can get this thing to bed. All right, so what I have going on here is I have the carburetor sitting in place, but just kind of floating. I have the fuel on and I have some fuel in the tank. And it's been sitting here for almost an hour, about 45 minutes. And I was just trying to make sure we didn't have any overflow or sealing issues with that needle and seat. And it's looking like we don't. Excellent. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. All right, moment of truth. Carb's hooked up, fuel is on, choke is on. I have a grinder plugged in. That should be a decent sized load. Let's see what happens. And there you have it. I went over it with a rag with some WD-40 on it, and it cleaned up pretty well. I gotta say. Yeah, I mean, it ran the heater, no problem. I had it on for, it's gonna say 2.9 now, but I didn't want to just leave it here running for an hour. Good, I'm happy with it. As far as the kilowatt, I can't pretend that I know exactly what this is supposed to be at hertz-wise. I know most generators are supposed to be at like 61 and a half, but this is a small unit. I don't know about AVRs. I don't know about, that's all James Condon's area of expertise. If you don't know him, he's a great YouTuber. He's the authority on generators as far as I'm concerned, how to test them and whatnot. I really don't see many through the shop here. But yeah, this is going to be, I think this is just going to be a keeper. I'm going to hang on to it. We lost power once already this winter, and this will be probably more than enough to run a fridge, which is all I really don't want to lose my food. Can you tell? By the way, 4 gallon is how big the tank is. And that wraps it up. I want to thank you guys again for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you guys have any comments or you know exactly what this is supposed to say, if the hertz are too high and I should lower the engine speed, please put it in the comments. I read every comment. I respond to every comment. I appreciate the help. Thanks again. Bye.